Hello, everyone. Welcome to, I think this is episode 4 of the socially distanced Foreign Fork YouTube cooking show on Facebook too right now. And today I'm going to be showing you how to make a recipe from Croatia. So for those of you that don't know or haven't read my post on Croatia, you can do that at www.foreignfork.com. I visited Croatia about 2 years ago when I was on the big backpacking journey that inspired my the concept of my blog, and I absolutely loved Croatia. I visited Split, Croatia, and it was just seriously so gorgeous there. There was beautiful waterfalls and bright blue oceans with dolphins swimming next to our boats, and my first sunburn of the trip, which obviously sunburn's not good, but sunshine had a little red on my nose, which made me honestly a little bit happy because it had been cold for the rest of my trip. So I absolutely love Croatia. It was one of my favorite countries that I visited. And while I was there, I had a dish at a seaside restaurant. It was so good. They were these stuffed Croatian peppers. And so when I came home and it was time to cook a recipe from Croatia, I cooked a couple of things, but one of them, of course, had to be those peppers because they were absolutely delicious. So today I have made the recipe I've tested a couple times, the recipe for stuffed peppers from Croatia, and I'm going to be showing you how to make them in your Instant Pot. I am so excited because I have never shown you a video with my Instant Pot before, but if you've been watching my channel or reading my posts that are posted on my Facebook page, you know that I am recently obsessed with my Instant Pot. It is making my life so much easier, especially during quarantine, but just all the time, like dinner is so fast. So I'm going to show you today how to make my Croatian stuffed peppers in the Instant Pot. So we are going to start with, I actually did this stuff ahead of time because it was a while to actually do this part on camera, so I just prepped it. What I did was I took a half cup of long grain white rice and a half cup of chicken broth, and I put them both in the Instant Pot. I put the lid on and I sealed it, and then I set the timer to 6 minutes on high pressure. So that part, it was going to take a while to show you how to do that because the pressure has to build and it has to cook for 6 minutes. So I didn't do that. But when you take the rice out, long grain white rice normally takes about 10 minutes to cook in the Instant Pot. And right now we're cooking it for 6. So it's going to be kind of done, but not completely done. And that's exactly what we want. We want it to be still a little bit hard because it's going to continue to cook in the Instant Pot longer when you put all of the ingredients in there. Okay, so now that we have our 1/2 cup of white rice cooked, I'm going to put that in a big bowl. And pretty much this recipe is really easy because all you have to do is throw everything into a bowl, stuff it into some peppers, and then cook it from there. So it's super fast. All right, so we have a 1/2 cup of our long grain white rice. And then we also have a 1/2 pound of hamburger and a 1/2 pound of ground pork. So they're both ground meats that are in here, and it's a 1/2 and 1/2 mixture, 1/2 pound of each. I'm going to put that into this bowl too. Okay, next we have 1/2 of an onion that's chopped up. So this is a 1/4 of an onion for me because the onions at Kroger right now are like as big as my head. So keep like a normal size onion, do a 1/2. If you have a massive onion right now, do a 1/4 of it, but it should be about like a 1/2 or 3/4 of a cup of chopped onion. All right, we have an egg. So I'm just going to crack this egg in here. Throw it away in my trash can down there. A 1/4 cup of tomato sauce. So you could get this canned, just a can of tomato sauce, and I have it right here. So right now, there's only, so on the screen it says a 1/2 cup of tomato sauce, which is accurate. You are going to need a 1/2 cup. You're going to put a 1/4 cup into the mixture, and then you are also going to take 4 tablespoons later and put 1 tablespoon on top of each of your peppers. So that equals a 1/2 cup. So make sure you have a 1/2 cup on hand, but for now you're only going to put a 1/4 cup into the actual mixture. All right, now we're going to do the seasonings. So I have a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of oregano. I have some garlic. And then 2 teaspoons of paprika and 2 teaspoons of dried mint. Okay. So that's it, pretty much. I'm going to take my rings off of my fingers, and I'm going to use my hands to mix this all up. When we make meatloafs at home, this is how we mix them up. So I'm going to get nice and dirty right now. Don't worry, I washed my hands before this, but I'm going to mix everything together really nicely. You can also use a spoon if you want, but I just think that this goes by fast. All right. So let me take a second. I am going to, well, you want to know what? I have to stuff my peppers. So I have 4 peppers over here. I'm going to wash my hands real quick. All right, I gave them a nice little rinse. Perfect. So I'm going to set this aside for just a second. And I already prepped most of this already because it's pretty easy. You only need to see one to know how it's done. But I have 4 bell peppers right here. Most of them have their tops cut off already, which is what you're going to need. You're going to need the tops cut off. So I kept the top on one of them so that I could show you how to cut the tops off. So you're going to take your knife and cut around the entire rim of the bell pepper. You don't want to cut just around the stem. You want to actually like cut along the entire outer rim of the bell pepper because you want to make sure that you have a big enough hole that you can stuff all of the filling into. So now you'll see that there are some like those white, I don't even know what they're called, white things inside of the bell peppers. So just take your fingers and tear those out. I don't actually know if that's bad to eat or not. I just always take them out. Maybe I'm just picky. And then make sure that you have all the seeds out as well. Perfect. Okay, there's only a couple seeds in there, so I just knocked them out. Hi Shilpa. Thanks for watching. Okay, it's a fun one. People are watching. All right, so now I'm going to take this meat mixture, and I have my 4 bell peppers, and I'm just going to put 1/4 of it into each of the bell peppers. And somehow it always ends up to be just the perfect amount. I don't know how it works, but it always ends up to be a perfect amount where all of the bell peppers are leveled across at the top. Put these in here. So now in Croatia, if you are eating this dish in Croatia, I was actually served this dish with a side of mashed potatoes, and that's normally how they eat their stuffed peppers. There's 1/4 pound of meat in each of these, so they're pretty filling. But if you want to eat it the traditional Croatian way, you can put some mashed potatoes on the side, and it will be just like how they eat it there. At least where I had it in Split. All right, so see, look, I said all of our bell peppers are leveled right across at the top. And now all we need to do is cook them. So I have 1 cup of water. And I'm going to pour that into the Instant Pot. And then I'm going to move the Instant Pot over so that you can see what's happening inside of here. Here we go. Move it into the frame. There you go. All right, so this is the inside of my Instant Pot. There's this trivet. The trivet can, when you use the Instant Pot, you can either stay in or come out, depending on what recipe you're making. Right now, we're going to keep the trivet in. So I have a cup of water in the bottom of there, and I have my trivet in here now. And what I'm going to do is take my bell peppers and put them in here on the trivet. Pro tip, I've made this mistake a bunch of times. Put the first 2 in at once, right across from each other, because I put 1 in at first and it tipped over and all the filling spilled out. So that was less than ideal. All right, I'm going to wipe my hands again. Oh, here we go. Here's my paper towel. And then I'm going to put the lid on. Now here's your pressure sealer right here. So make sure that you take this and you turn it to say pressure and not steam or clean or anything else, because that's what's gonna build the pressure in your Instant Pot. Then you're gonna hit the pressure cook button, make sure that it's on high, set the timer for about 9 minutes, and then hit start. And that's it, you're done. And we're just gonna set that aside and let it cook for about 9 minutes, and we will have a delicious meal after that. You can cook it for 9 minutes to about, cook it for about 9 minutes to about 11 minutes, depending on how well done you like your peppers. If you want them a little bit easier to cut through, you want the fork to be able to pierce them without having to try that hard. So if you get to 9 minutes and you find that they're not cooked as well done as you want them to be, then you can just put that a little bit more water into the Instant Pot and turn it on for another 2 minutes or so, and that should cook it the rest of the way if you're not pleased with how cooked it is at 9 minutes. Thanks, Laura. I appreciate that. Okay, so I did my my Rachel Ray move over here where I pre-cooked a couple of these so that you could see how they were done, because we don't want to wait like 15 minutes for this to heat up and cook. So I actually just cooked these ahead of time so that you could watch me eat them if you wanted to, I guess. So I'm gonna cut this open, and you can see that the kind of holds together a little bit like a meatloaf, if that's like that makes sense to you, like the inside, the egg in there, and then steaming it. It's not crumbly like ground beef. It's held together really nicely. And I will cut a bite. I always cut too big of bites, and then I have to chew on camera for a long time. So I think I will cut them a little bit smaller. So not to brag or anything, but when I made these, my boyfriend said that they moved a couple other things off the list and jumped all the way up to number 2 on his list of favorite things I've ever made for the Fork and Fork, and I agree. Sometimes, for example, my mom was a little bit hesitant about putting mint in there. I guarantee you it does not taste minty. It just has a lot of flavor. I really, really love these peppers. They come together, as you can see, so quickly. They cook so easily in the Instant Pot, and they are absolutely delicious and a full meal all in one with your veggies and your protein. It's all in this meal right here, and I love it. So you can click the link that's in the video. It'll also be in the bio of this recipe. www.forkandfork.com is going to have the recipe for these if you want the written instructions. And other than that, I will see you next week, same time, same place, Saturday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm going to be making a recipe that I recipe tested a couple weeks ago and have made 4 times since then because it's incredible. It's strawberry bread. And I'm really excited to show you how to make that too. So thanks for watching, you guys. I will see you soon.